Good afternoon, everyone. It is 1 o'clock. I just had a thought then. I was like, is it supposed to be 1 o'clock? Yes, it's supposed to be 1 o'clock. I was getting confused with time zones going back and forth. It was David that confused me. Uh, Hi, Jamie. Hi, Jay. Just let me know if you can see and hear okay. If you are watching via Facebook, if you could let me know via Facebook. If you are watching via YouTube, if you could let me know via that option. I don't think we're streaming anywhere else, but if we are, let me know. Just waiting for a few people to jump on. We have upgraded our streaming software. So I am coming to you in full high definition today, which I think is quite a scary thing, especially if you're a girl. No one wants to be that highly defined. So hopefully you can see the difference. But what I will say is I was just reading about it. I was just reading about it and said that if you do have a bad internet connection, sometimes what can happen is it might go a little bit juddery on the stream due to the high definition. But I've got the worst internet in the world, so it seems to be holding it together. All good our end. So I'm just going to go into the comments. Had loads of people jumping on, which is good because I didn't actually send out all of the invites, and you guys are here regular, which is really, really good. We got Jay, we got Matt. Afternoon, all. Dan, hi everyone. I'm just going to go into the Facebook comments so I can see everybody's name. Turn my volume down. Oh, I didn't log into it quick enough, so it probably is not going to show. Let me see if I can see it on here. It's just me today, guys. So I just wanted to talk to you quite casually today about some stuff that I've kind of had a big realization about recently. And, I wanted to share your thoughts with that, kind of keep you updated with a few things that have gone on. Hello, gorgeous. Back at you, Rosie. Matthew Wright has joined us. Good, good, good. Rona, hello. Hi, hi, hi. So yeah, I'm just going to go into all of my comments. So because it's just me, I'm just going to be like going all over the place. Hi, Debbie. Yeah, so I wanted to kind of talk to you about how you guys can start thinking about this business moving forward. Okay, because there's been a lot of changes, over the last few years in particular. We really, really didn't expect COVID to happen. It happened, and it accelerated a lot of people's businesses, and it, decelerated, if that's such a word, people's traditional businesses. So it's one of those things that I think that over the last couple of years, you've seen people leave the space, you've seen people join the space. And I think that whilst I've known this for a really long time, subconsciously I haven't, put it all together essentially. And it was a catalyst recently when someone said to me, when I'd seen some comments about, I see how everyone's jumping to the USA now. It's not online arbitrage doesn't work in the UK anymore, and things like that. And I've seen quite a lot of comments like that. And whilst I completely agree with those comments, I do, that is what seems to be happening. I actually think it's not because it doesn't work. I think because it's evolved so much, it needs to be looked at in a different way, which is always what I've maintained over the years. This is an evolution business. This is you have to be able to adapt business to changing times and changing circumstances and innovation and all these different types of things. And I think that that's kind of got lost along the way. So I want to spend some time today in particular talking through all of the things that have led me to this point, to this particular live, which may make some people feel better. It may give a little bit of different direction, may have a slightly different mindset shift or something like that. Yeah, so it's just to kind of talk through those things. So yeah, that's what I want to do today. So we've got Wayne, we've got Jessica, we've got Luke, we've got Craig. Everyone's jumping on board today, which is good. Yoni, hi guys. Claire's joined us as well. So just before we get started and we kind of dive into it, what I want to do is I want to ask the question, and I want as many people to comment as possible. So even if you are that person that is The lurker that doesn't comment. I want everyone to comment their answers as much as possible. Hi, Jackie. Hi, Marta. Loads of people coming in. I think Matt said it's because it's StreamYard was a bit behind. It's just pushed out the notification. Yeah, probably. We've just upgraded, so they're probably probably sending it out a little bit harder. So yeah, I want everyone to try and answer this question as much as possible. And by the way, there's no right or wrong answer. So, don't feel silly for if you're going to say something and you think, oh no, just in case it's wrong. There's no right or wrong answer. There's subjection, the subjective answers. So, how do you think? This is the question. How do you think, April? Hello from a lurker. Welcome, April. How do you think you can scale this business? So let's just talk about Amazon FBA for the moment. By the way, this applies to everything. So it's not just, if you don't sell on Amazon, if you don't sell FBA, this kind of process applies to everything. But if I ask you now, if I was sat opposite you now, we were having a coffee, and I'm asking you a direct question, how do you think you scale this business? So if you're doing 6 figures now, how do you think you get to 7 figures? If you're doing 5 figures, how do you think you get to 6 figures? If you're doing 1,000 as much, how 1,000 a day, how do you think you get to 2,000 a day? If you're doing 1,000 a month, how do you think you get to 2,000 a month? Okay, first answer, Jackie, outsource as much as possible. Yeah, definitely. Keep them coming. I want to hear as many different thoughts on this as possible. Hi, John. Good to have you here. Outsource listings. David said more listings and systemize, buy more stock, be consistent and outsource. Consistency, diversification, outsource. Yeah. Buy more stock. Nike's put be consistent at it and outsource. Yeah, absolutely. Raheem, more listings, find more deals. Definitely. Reinvest more, buy more products, spend more, systems, processes. Well done, guys, coming up with all this. Brand exclusivity. Yeah. Brilliant. Just see if any more come in. Jessica says spend more. Launch more of our PL products onto Amazon. Gold star for David. There we go. Training by Nat. 100%. Yeah. You win the best comment for sure. Luke says reinvest more. Absolutely. Introduce bundles, create my own brand, outsource prep. Yeah, absolutely. PPC knowledge to increase reach. Yeah, definitely. Leo says spend more. Previously, Debbie says I have increased my listings, but in truth, I'm a little lost at the moment, other than consistency. So I'm looking at moving my PL line on. I think that means moving on from the PL line or adding a PL line. I'm not sure. It's just sort of cut off there. Craig says sell more. Absolutely. You've definitely got to do with that. Well, by all of those comments, they're all right. Okay. So there wasn't a comment there adding to it. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. Got you, Debbie. So there wasn't a comment there that wasn't wrong. Absolutely right. Is all of those different elements how you can scale this business. Now, when I first started Arbitrage 6-7 years ago, there is no exaggeration to say that you would literally, you've heard me talk about this till the cows come home. So I'm sorry if I'm boring anyone, but when we first started this, you could go into a store, you could go to like Disney store, you could go to Tesco Direct and places like that. You would buy some products. You would list them on Amazon. Yeah, there might be a little bit of, if you didn't get it in quick enough, then yes, there would be some price tanking. Price tanking's not new. But at the same time, the price tanking, we'd be talking going from like 100% ROI to maybe like 30%, which has become like the new standard. Then as more people get involved and arbitrage became lower hanging fruit, because it didn't used to be lower hanging fruit. As it became more, yeah, John knows exactly what I was talking about then. And people that weren't around at that time think, really? How can that be? And it isn't due to saturation. And this is the main thing I've learned. Yeah, Debbie says that as well. It gets blamed a lot on saturation, but it shouldn't get blamed on saturation. And I'll tell you for why in a moment. what it kind of got, what it is it was made easier, and it didn't used to be lowest hanging fruit. It became lowest hanging fruit by people that offer services, and things that facilitated people that probably may or may not have ever actually taken action. It made it easier for those people to be able to come in and say, okay, look at this. I can buy this and I can send it in there, easy peasy. Don't have to do anything else. Perfect. And then when it landed, it could be for a couple of reasons. They either were, really new, and they didn't know how to, price or strategically price or whatever, or you would get high volume seller that would come in and need to sell their stock quicker than, someone that had 20 SKUs within their business. They would send the price down, and then all the lemmings would throw themselves off of the cliff and they would go down, essentially. And that became more and more and more and more. And then there became more services that came on board. And then there became, we'll do it for you. And then, so essentially what became a good starter model getting into the world of Amazon quickly became saturated in terms of done for you services. Now, that's my own personal opinion on it. I believe that is the truth. My truth, sound like Meghan Markle and Harry. That's my truth from being involved, and then also from an outsider's point of view. That's what I believed happened. Now, there is also the model taken into account of wholesale as well, where people come in, they want to sell their goods quicker, who are very experienced sellers that know exactly what they're doing in terms of strategic, price tanking. Because let's face it, apart from Amazon being, a-holes, and, there's been other challenges that we have to deal with, account health issues, declarations of conformities, that you didn't used to get back in the good old days. I want to ask you guys, if price tanking wasn't an issue, would you all feel differently about vanilla online arbitrage or retail arbitrage? If price tanking wasn't a thing, do you think, so take it out of your mind, do you think that you would feel differently and have less of the frustrations? Are you somebody that thinks online arbitrage doesn't work anymore? Are you someone that thinks, okay, it used to work, and unless I change something dramatic by not doing that anymore and I start doing bundles, that's the only way it's going to work? So share your thoughts on that, guys. That's what I interpret the market and the communities and everything to fill at the moment. And I think, oh dear, I didn't turn off my focus. Here we go. So yeah, we make better consistent money with our bundles. Absolutely. That's Rona, 100%. Yeah. Seems okay to me. Someone said, yeah, if there was no price tanking, I'd certainly invest more. It's much harder with people creating their own brands and just branding a simple Cadbury bar as their own. Absolutely. Yeah, we do know, especially from my training, there's a certain way to do that and a way not to do that. And that is the way not to do it. David says wholesale is much more efficient to run as with business, but you still get tankers. Absolutely. I think the most important thing is to understand that when it comes to tankers, that is just one element of the business, and it's something that's not going to change, because the model changed to a certain extent when it became more facilitated for people to get involved in the business that necessarily may not have looked at it as a business, just looked at it as a side hustle, whatever. So John says, I cannot source enough viable products anymore, and I'm looking at bundles to save my bacon. But they've saved many a bacon, John. So I'm definitely hoping that's going to be the case for you. Someone says, who says that? Danielle says, that's how I'm feeling right now. I tried OA for 6 months and it just wasn't for me. Sean's joined us as well. Welcome, Sean. Someone said it was okay. And I can't see who said that. So hi, Lauren. Welcome. I still use it and put new listings on constantly. That's Jackie. Brilliant, brilliant. So saved our bacon is definitely the route right now, Debbie said. So yeah, great to hear that. It's interesting, actually. I saw some comments in our private group. I've turned my focus off. What is going on? Focus. Do not disturb. Apologies. So about literally someone's never created a bundle before, created a bundle. And by the way, this is not about bundles. You may think this is where I'm going. Who said it? I can't see who. Yeah. Oh, I think it's because I'm broadcasting in the Amazon Entrepreneurs group as well, and I'm not seeing the comments come up on here. So apologies, me. Leon. Okay, great. Thank you. So I can't see the comments. I need to remember to do that in the future. So you guys might be thinking, oh, okay, she's gonna launch into bundles now, and this is gonna be a sales pitch about how great bundles are. Well, believe it or not, it's not. They are great. They are amazing. They are a fantastic way to facilitate long-term plans for various different reasons within this business. But what I've come to the realization of, and I've been coming to this realization over the last 6 months in particular, is the amount of time that we've been in this business. We've tried lots of different things, and we do lots of different things in lots of different marketplaces. As you know, we sell private label in the US, arbitrage in the US, bundles in the UK. The only area we don't really sell in is in Europe. That's going to be part of focus of this year. So what I've realized is, and I've done it in a way, and I suppose this is why you have people to follow and things like that, because they've kind of trod the path before you. But I've now worked out that there is a process to this as it stands at the moment. And the process is actually very simple in terms of how you can utilize all of the different selling models within this business to be able to create one overall successful e-commerce business. E-commerce? Why can't I say it? E-commerce business. So what I'm talking about is most people would come in and they would find this business generally through online arbitrage, and they probably very quickly get disorientated and disillusioned very quickly, because without the things, some extras that people have said, brand exclusivity, wholesale, which is something you can't start wholesale on this from day one, unless you're already in wholesale or you've got some experience of it. Yes, I'm not saying that the odd person might come in and take to it like a duck to water, need no guidance, and this might be the perfect model and they can hit it off, but that's rare. And when I speak to people in terms of groups, you have to look at the average as opposed to not the exceptions. Okay, so that's how we look at things. So from that point of view, if somebody said to me now, say for instance, I've got Bob in the corner over there who says, I want to get involved in this business. Now, a little while ago, I would have said, start with bundles, do that. And, because that's the only viable model in the UK that's working, okay, at the moment. And for those that, have been part of my training programs, know that I just don't chuck a couple of things together. There's a very strong system that is built in place with certain types of bundles, and it's not just like I say, so putting together frequently bought together. There's a very strong process that's related to that, and you start at a certain level in bundles and then you kind of scale up from there. And I would still advise people to do that and not even bother with online arbitrage, really, because there's no profit in it, essentially. And I'm gonna get in so much trouble for saying this, but remember, I said I'm talking in general terms. I'm talking for the average. Okay, because I know there'll be people that will shout me down and say, well, I'm doing it and it's working fine for me. Well, that's great. How long have you been doing it? If you've been doing it for more than 3 years, or certainly past the period of COVID, then yeah, it probably is, because if you're still in it from 3 years ago, you've had to find a way to survive. You may not have known it, but you've had to find a way to survive. I very much doubt that you're doing everything exactly now as you were 3 years ago. So you may have progressed into wholesale, you may have progressed into a specific niche, you may have progressed into something else. But I don't believe for the general population of Amazon sellers that traditional online arbitrage as it was over 3 years ago is working. Someone says, I'm scared. Don't be scared. Don't be scared, because it doesn't matter what I'm going to go through. So what we do, but now what I've realized after doing all of these things individually, is subconsciously I've actually created a system in myself of testing the various different models that work, but managing my expectations of how they work and what should be achieved through those models as a step within your business. So the first thing I want to say, and I've got some notes here, so you know me, I can go off a little bit off of track, so I thought I'd write some notes so I don't do that. So I think we've been looking at this wrong. So for online arbitrage, I used to say to people, yeah, if you just want to do that from a vanilla point of view, you want to go ahead and do it, then yeah, I think it could be a really good side hustle. It could be a lifestyle business with all the benefits and everything like that. Then it could, pay for a car, it can pay for a holiday, it can pay for this, it can pay for that. And it's kind of the side hustle kind of thing. But then what would happen during that side hustle is you would think, okay, this is working quite well. Could I scale this up? Could I turn this into a real business, essentially? And that's the process and tends what's to happen. But I actually think I've been looking at it wrong. Whereas I've been saying, okay, start it as a side hustle and see where you get on. I think it's a really great opportunity, if you're going to do it as a side hustle, to know it's a side hustle. And that's what it's going to be. Now, I'm not saying, oh, if you decide it's going to be a side hustle, you can't change it. No, but you need to know what your plan is and where you're going to be going. So what I mean by that is I want to stop referring to it as a side hustle unless it's a side hustle. And a side hustle on online arbitrage will be, a constant stream of products that are going in, finding new products. You might be outsourcing it. You might be buying from deal sheets, but you have a certain level of expectation for what the margin is going to be in that business. Now, it's probably going to be on the lower side unless you're selling at volume. But it's understanding that the main benefit that comes from selling traditional vanilla online arbitrage, I'm not even going to bring retail arbitrage in that, because I think that's a different model in itself. So I think that I'm going to say it's just online arbitrage, buying from retailers, flipping, not even replenishables, new deals, constant state of new deals that you could look to achieve a certain level of margin, which wouldn't be particularly high, depending on whether or not you're using a prep center or VA or something like that. But the majority of what, you're probably going to get out of that business is the extras in life. So like lifestyle, your cash back is going to facilitate certain things. You might use it to get a new car, pay for a holiday, that type of thing. And it's constantly that kind of cycle of cash that's going through, and you're using it to build your Amex points. You're using it to do this and you're using it to do that. And if that's your side hustle, and then any profit that comes through, providing you're not trying to run it like a real business by taking 100 grand Amazon loan to facilitate a side hustle, which I actually don't think you should be doing. And I'm going to come on to that in a moment. And by the way, this is my opinion. So, my opinion on it. Feel free to disagree. So you treat it as a side hustle. Okay, so that's step one. You treat it as a side hustle. Now, if you've been doing it for a while and you want to start thinking about it differently, and you think, okay, this is quite good. I can see some green shoots here, but I'm going to need to, this is not sustainable for a full business. Okay. This is not something that I feel could grow without a massive level of frustration. Could I outsource? Because a lot of people that I deal with essentially what happens is they come to me with a standard arbitrage business and their margins are rubbish in terms of the business is churning over, but they're not making any money. And, you know, some people going into the 7 figures doing this, they can't pay bills, can't pay credit card bills. They can't do this, they can't do that because, and here is the thing, they've treated a side hustle, or they've been running a side hustle, and they've not treated it like a business. They've scaled a side hustle as opposed to building a business. Does that make sense so far? Hopefully you're still with me. Okay. I think there needs to be a clear definition between side hustle and business. And before, I'd been kind of, I hadn't been putting them together, but I don't know if we'd ever talked about it enough that we'd, you know, made it, that's how we want to refer to it moving forward. And by the way, let me make it absolutely clear that there is no issue with it being a side hustle. Okay. I don't personally like the term, but the you know, side hustle and what it is, you know, in that sense, if it's facilitating the extras in life, which is what I believe the definition of side hustle is, you know, you've got no intention of quitting your job, you know, it's paying for the things, costs have gone up, you know, that type of thing. You're using it to pay the bills in your extra bills in your life, you know, that type of thing. That's what I think a side hustle is. And I think the mistake a lot of people make is they try to scale up their side hustle. Whereas I think you need to make a different plan based on that once you make that decision, if that is what you're going to do. Because we've battled over this the last few years, the difference between people running the business, and I see someone there's made a comment, I'm not sure who it is, Chris, about, you know, the difference between side hustles, and someone saying there isn't enough information about the business side of profit and loss, and, you know, and everything like that. Absolutely right, because this model is sold as a side hustle. That's exactly what it is. You know, selling on Amazon is perceived as a side hustle. So why do I need to teach you about profit and loss? Why do I need to? It's not a real business, side hustle. So that's exactly, you know, I think where a lot of people have maybe gone wrong. And combine that with, you know, a lot has changed over the last few years. And this is what I'm always saying. Amazon is always evolving. It's always adapting. This wasn't the case 5 years ago, but it's the case now. And it won't be the case in 5 years' time. We'll be talking about it and looking at it in a different way. You have to keep up. You have to keep up with the changes. It's the only way. I would not be sat here now, speaking to you all now, if I hadn't have adapted and evolved over the years. It's as simple as that. So if we're not going to look at it as a side hustle, you know, if you've been through that, you've started it out. So Bob in the corner, start Amazon as a side hustle. Great. Bob's a few months in and he's realized, you know, this is pretty good. I quite enjoy this, but I don't see how I could leave my job and do this. Well, this is when the mindset shift needs to change, as far as I'm concerned, where you move away from the side hustle and now you move into building a business. Okay. And what is the first thing that you do when you build a business? You build a foundation in your business. Okay. So we're not in side hustle mode anymore. We build a foundation in our business. Now that foundation will probably consist on the foundation of the side hustle, but essentially we are now working towards a clear goal of maybe leaving a job or doing this. So whilst I'm not going to go into this in massive detail, I'm want to cover the full process. You would then go through the process of setting up your goals and what you would need to leave your job and all of these different types of things. And then you would lay out a plan. And that plan, in reality, guys, is probably going to be a 3-year plan. It's going to be a time where the first year you're working on the foundation of your business. The second year will be when the foundation has been established. And during that first year is almost a transformational time where you see the belief of everything that you are doing in the first year to build a solid foundation in your business. Then the second year is when you really start to put those systems in place and you outsource. Now, again, this is loose. It may happen before then, depending on, certain things that you do in your business. And then the third year is going to be the year when everything is in place, and that's going to be your profit year. Now, I'm not saying you're not going to make profit before that, but this is going to be your choices year. So this is the year where you're just going to continue to scale, and you're going to have the choice with what you want to do with your business. If you want to expand into different areas, if you want to sell your business, if you want to do this, if you want to do that. So it's not until the third year that you're probably going to be really established in this business, because that is the traditional rules of business. So when we move away from side hustle, we move into the world of building a business. And reality check, guys, real businesses are not formed in the space of 3 months. It is a long-term plan that needs to be put into place to follow a set of systems and processes that is definitely something that is workable, and you can go ahead and feel that you're going to get and achieve certain types of goals and steps within your business. I see quite a few comments coming in, so I move on a set. Let me go, because I don't want you to think I'm ignoring you guys. Any other comments, let me know as we go through. Chris says, I've been on the side hustle side of my reselling far too many years. It's now starting to take action and making it a real business. Absolutely. Marion said, crystal clear. Good. Might just be me, but I do find the phrase side hustle almost a cheap phrase since the likes of TikTok and everyone seems to use it. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the actual phrase, and I don't call it that myself. It's just what we use to identify, what sort of period it can be. And for me, Amazon is definitely not a side hustle, but I've had this kind of clarity and realization over the last 6 months is the reason why people get into trouble and disillusion with this business is because they're trying to scale a side hustle. They're not trying to build a business. And that's the difference. And there's not a lot around that shows you how to build a business within this business. Okay, they show you how to scale a side hustle. So an extra example of that is what I was speaking about earlier. If you are somebody that is leveraging debt to scale your side hustle and not build a business, then probably at some point in your business, you're going to come a cropper. Because you're not running it away in the way that a business needs to be run to be taking on huge amounts of debt. 100 grand loaned from Amazon to facilitate a side hustle, then you're, borrowing from someone this, and then you've got Amex cards, and you're doing this and you're doing that. Then what eventually happens is, Oh, that's okay. Don't worry. What eventually happens is something can go wrong in your business. And I know this, right? Last week we got suspended, or week before last we got suspended. Everything stopped. Everything stopped for this one income stream, which supports a lot of team members, right? So with this particular income stream, it stopped. Now, it's not our only income stream, so I wasn't crying into my pillow for too long. The wolves were not going to be at the door. I can pay my bills and, things like that, because I've also learned not to be reliant on one income stream. So, through previous experiences like this. But if that is your only income stream, you're in trouble. You are in trouble. If you've got a 25 grand Amex bill, you've got to pay back 100 grand to Amazon. But not only that, it eventually catches up. If you just take all of that money to leverage scaling your side hustle, and you're not employing that as a real business in order to build a foundation and grow from there, all you're doing is potentially throwing good money after bad. And what will eventually happen is that will catch up with you, where you can't pay your bills. You are overspending. You're not managing your cash flow. You are over leveraging yourself. You are hiding behind fake money, essentially. And that's what will happen with the, if you try and scale a side hustle, essentially. You can keep adding new income streams and whatnot, but what will happen is they will hide. Business and cash flow is very good like that. Bad decisions can be hidden by leveraging debt and by introducing new income streams. So it's why now when I work with people, I do not allow anyone to proceed into different income streams until they can prove to me that they have a solid foundation in their business. And that solid foundation is between 18 and 20% net margin at the current marketplace and business that they're working in. Now, it may mean introducing new sub income streams, but it's building on the foundation and expanding out from the work that you've already done. It's getting rid of the rubbish and it's keeping the good. The amount of times that I go through people's businesses where I can see that they've got a massively profitable product, but it's constantly going out of stock. And they've got 400 units of something that doesn't make any money. This is the difference, in terms of ensuring that you are analyzing your business and you are seeing, and again, comes with building the foundation in the business. And once that foundation is built, then you can start to put the systems and processes in place and build from there. And I think that's one of the most important things. And it seems to have over the years got lost along the way. And then when the foundation is right, then what you do is you add a different. So once you build the foundation, or as you're building your foundation, you have one area. So this is the key. So, or what I think is the key, essentially, is you utilize your side hustle or the online arbitrage model to pay your bills. I'm waiting for the angry faces to come, because people are gonna be like shouting at me, oh my God, what are you talking about? So you use that model to pay your bills. You use that model to outsource your business. So and appreciate, some people will or will not be able to do this. You utilize the benefits in your business to, cover the extras in your life, essentially, which, as it goes on, you use it to build up your Amex, you use it to, maintain that cash flow. Because something that people don't realize, when you move from side hustle to business, you move from arbitrage to wholesale, a lot of people tend to miss the benefits. You lose the cash back, you can lose the use of gaining those benefits of the cards. But what if you kept it all? But you worked to build the business to cover your costs. So anything else that you start adding into your business, those sub income streams that you start adding into your business, well, there's not much extra cost involved in those, because you've already established the systems and processes in place to cover your baseline within your business. So then once your baseline is covered, that's when you bring in the bundles. That's when you bring in the 3s, 4s, 5s. And if you know, and I'm sorry, you got to be part of the hive, to know these things, unfortunately. But that's when you start bringing those in. And then all of a sudden, they almost become pure profit. And then once they've got to a point, what happens is you are leveraging those good margins to pick up the difference between the bad margins. So if you are striving to hit 18 to 20% within your arbitrage business, just doing arbitrage, that's what you want it to do, right? It's going to be hard to be able to do that. So what we do is a combination of different models in different sections, in different marketplaces around the world, where some will be run at a almost a break even, and then some will be run at much higher. And then what happens is, when you add all these different things in, once you've mastered it and you've got the system in place for that particular area, for that particular marketplace, then you move on. So overall, your arbitrage business might be running at 0% margin, but your bundles business is running at 40% margin. So therefore, the overall difference is your business is running at 20% margin. That is in the crudest terms. Now, I know that maths doesn't really work out like that, But at the same time, that arbitrage business is fueling the whatever you want to get into. You're not losing any of the benefit, essentially. So you're maximizing every possible opportunity. Why get rid of something that can facilitate something else in a different way? This is what I think now needs to be the new way of doing things, essentially. And then what you can do is you can gradually bring in other things that you can help increase your business across the board. Why should you give up online arbitrage to go into wholesale? Well, do both. Maximize the opportunities in every single area. Run one part of your business at a loss in order to maintain in the other areas. That's what running a business is about. You walk into Tesco's and you look at the end of the shelves, and they will have you buy one, get one free. They'll have the offers. They're called loss leaders. So what they're designed to do is to get people in the store, and I'm talking in broadest terms here. They're designed to get people in the store that they sell at a crazy price in the hope that they will buy something else. Okay, that they're not just going to buy. That's why they hate arbitragers, by the way, guys, because we go in and take away all their loss leaders. So you go in, you buy that. Average Joe buys that, and then while they're here, actually, I'm just going to get the stuff I need for my Sunday roast. While I'm here, I'm just going to pick up my deodorant. While I'm here, I'm just going to do this. I don't normally buy it from Tesco's because it's expensive. I normally get it off Amazon, but I'm here, so I'm going to do it. So it's the same process in business. You almost build this foundation of loss leader into your business, and then you utilize that to help fund bringing in the extras that will bring much higher margins. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. You know me, I can go off on a tangent and I can talk for England. And if it does make sense, then hopefully I've said it right. But if not, I need to clarify it a little bit more. Let me go back to the comments. I'm getting some comments that I don't know where I'm coming. It says, everything Natalie said is exactly where I am. It's crazy. Not crazy. It's good. I think it's Leon says, it scared me. Now I'm excited. Yeah, I tend to do that a little bit. I do tend to scare people a little bit, but then I never scare people, intentionally. John says, just to put it in perspective, my sales have gone from 7 figures to lower 6 figures. Margins have also fallen. Inflation and supply chain have almost destroyed the OA model. Wholesale can work, but it's not for the faint-hearted. RA is still good if you can put in the hours. Just my opinion, guys. Absolutely. I completely agree. But John, what if we use that as the foundation to your business now? What if you did not expect to make a penny from that? How would you feel about it? For me, once I've made a decision on something, it takes away the frustration. If I am not expecting to make any money from my arbitrage business because I know I've got a plan in place of building that as the foundation of my business, of moving forward, then that is something I'm going to look at it differently. I'm not going to look at it with my 2018 mind anymore because I've evolved and the business has evolved since then. It becomes a means to an end. Now, it may well be, if everyone adopts that, if everyone changes things, and I can also see this happening as well at the moment. What I can see at the moment is I can see a lot of people ditching OA in the UK and jumping across the pond because that's where they think the big margins are. Now, I won't go into that. It's another conversation for another day. But all they're doing is they're going to go in and repeat the same thing. Okay. And it's going to be a continual cycle. And then someone will come along and say, hey, let's do Germany. And they'll do that. And eventually their margins will go down because they're not adapting. All they're doing is trying to scale their side hustle. And eventually there might be one of these people that turns around, you know what, this isn't for me anymore because they've not done anything extra. They've just moved models, essentially over the time. And what I see happening is anyone that I see saying, oh, I'm going to give that up and do that instead. That's fine, but you're scaling a side hustle. You're not growing a business, or you're not building a business. Because if you were building a business, you would recognize that what you can have it all, essentially. You can have it all within this business. You've just got to do it. Now, I've done it all in the wrong order, right? Would it surprise you to let you know that I am going to be moving back into arbitrage in the UK, right? Something which about 3 years ago I said, I'm never going to do this. I'm never going to do that. So don't be like me. I've done it all in the wrong order, essentially. But by doing all the different things and not staying still over the years and trying different things, but not just trying the same thing somewhere else, it's a bit like, the old Taylor Swift song, hi, I'm the problem, it's me. There comes a point in the time, if something's working for someone else, but it's not working for you, and then you move it somewhere else and it's not working again, it's you. It's not the model. It's you. So what you need to do is look at what you're doing, and you need to make those diversifications or adaptions within your business, but at the same time, taking all the good with you. Okay. So what we're not going to do is, we're not going to take anything bad with us. We're going to weed all the bad out, and we're going to keep all of the good, within the business. And that's going to form the foundation. That's going to form the foundation out of our business. So I don't want anyone quitting anything. What I want is people to be able to build something, but manage those expectations. Because what I see happening is I see people quitting marketplaces and moving their crappy model into another marketplace. And then you see them come onto the scene, and you see the prices going like that, because that's all they know. And what they're doing is they are just moving they've got one way of selling, but they're trying to do it in different models and different marketplaces. But it doesn't work like that. With arbitrage, that needs its own strategy, and that needs its own expectation. With bundles, it needs its own strategy and its own expectations. With private label, it needs its own strategy and expectations. If I adopt the same attitude to arbitrage that I do to bundles, it's not going to work. I need to know that there's different strategies for each of those. So if I see someone coming into one of my spaces, which is what I see, people coming in and it's a high margin model, and they start tanking prices, or they start doing this, or they start undercutting, what it says to me is you are no good at what you do. That's the hard truth. That's the reality of it. You're no good at what you do, and all you're trying to do is just undercut your way to business. Well, that catches up with you eventually. And that's why you end up seeing people move into different areas and things like that. And you end up, ruining, what is potentially a good viable option. For other people who don't, who don't think like that. And yes, this is probably the harshest you've probably heard me talking, but at the same time, I can see it happening. I can see it's dead. It's dead. No, you're just looking at it wrong. It's not dead. How can you say something that sells? It's a bit like saying, well, Amazon's dead. Amazon's not dead. You just need to manage expectation in different areas and be looking at it differently. Okay, so that's, let me know your thoughts on that, guys. I keep getting distracted from the comments. Z says, great information. Thank you. You're welcome. John says, unfortunately, my situation has changed in recent years. I've had to give up my unit and work from home and take care of my wife. Thankfully, I have a really good prep center, which enables us to carry on. Oh, and I'm also very old. You're only as old as you feel, John. But everything that you're going to learn in the Hive is following this process, essentially. So in next month in the Hive, what we're going to be doing is we're currently in bundle training at the moment in Hive. But my next focus will be laying this plan out to everyone a 3-year plan of how you can build the foundation in your business, at what point you need to think about scaling, what money you need to do, at when you need to do it. Because what I don't want to do is I don't want to encourage people to run a business and think the only way that you can scale this business is through leveraging debt. That's absolutely incorrect. If that's how you're doing it, then you need to be operating a very high margin, a very low margin, high volume model. You need to be constantly churning. You need a team. You need to be able to do it. Okay. So, and by the way, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not saying that's wrong. Okay. So, what I'm going to do specifically, which is something I've never done before, is I'm going to build a business plan for everyone, that everyone has a clear direction in where they need to go, at what point they need to go within their business to utilize the different models, when you can add them, what you should be building, what you shouldn't be building within your business. And I'm going to lay that out for people. That will give you in 3 years' time, and you're like, I haven't got 3 years. I'm talking about an end goal here, that in 3 years' time will put you in a position in whatever you're turning over in 3 years' time, be it 100 grand a year or 3 million a year or 10 million a year, whatever you're producing in 3 years' time, that you know that you will have the security that your overall net margin within your business as a whole, will be in that golden spot of 18 to 20%. Okay, so that's what we're striving towards in everything that we're building in the Hive. Now, I'm not personally interested in low margin stuff. People that know me know I tend to work on the higher margin side of things. So I've stayed away from certain models, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm going to utilize those areas in order to maximize every single benefit I can within the eCom business. So this is the plan, to be able to do that, to be able to build scale, and then to be able to put it in place in a system, and then scale, and then to build some more and introduce some different options, and then scale, and bring the security in that if one of those cogs breaks, you've got 7 others to pick you up. If one gets suspended, doesn't matter. You can divert all of that was going to that marketplace. You can divert it somewhere else. So there's always security within the business to be able to grow. But if things go wrong, then it's got your back. It works without you, or it works without that element within your business. So it's like a protected bubble, essentially, that you're looking to build. Sean says, this rings very true where I am right now with the wholesale model. How do loss leaders encourage others to buy from your Amazon store? Quite often people aren't really aware of where they're buying from and just see it's Amazon. Sorry, maybe that's the wrong analogy. What I was using it in the terms of not actually to buy from your Amazon store. What we're going to use is the online arbitrage model almost for this particular plan. By the way, if you're not interested in this, that's fine. You want to carry on with traditional online arbitrage, that's entirely up to you. I know that there are people out there making it work for them. Absolutely. But for me, there's a lot of security in this business plan. Whereas if something goes wrong with the other one, it's not. It's kind of, the way I look at it is I see so many people, well, like I said, it's people trying to scale a side hustle. And I think that's where a lot of people are going wrong. And I'm not here to say who's right and who's wrong about certain types of things. I don't want someone going into another group if they say something else and say, well, Natalie says this and she said you're wrong for doing this. It's not to do with that at all. It's about me, my experience, what I've built. We, that's the royal we, me and Matt. you know, what I've built and what I know is proven strategies that work, because it's not a coincidence the people that go ahead and do these strategies, it works for them. It's as simple as that. So, but it's all together. And but before, what we've done is we've taught them individually, or we've shown them individually. What I'm going to be, after delivering the bundle training in the Hive over the next couple of months, is pulling it all together, so it's in a whole plan in itself. Okay, now we're going to put 3 years, but again, the 3 years is for it to be looked at more like a business. I've had people achieve this in 6 months, right? So it really depends on it depends on your risk level. It depends on a few different things. Okay, so some will do it quicker, some will do it longer. It's as simple as that. So, if you're single and this is your focus 100%, you'll probably do it quicker than someone that has a full-time job and this and that and whatever. So, like I said, this is the basis of pulling it all together and putting it in a step-by-step plan of what you need to do to bring that security to your business, not your side hustle, to your business. Anyway, sorry, I went off on a thing there, Sean. So yeah, the analogy was we're using the online arbitrage model almost as a loss leader to help you, facilitate you to add extras into your business, not necessarily to use as a loss leader for customers. That's something else. Amazon is something that we don't need to worry about getting the customers, because they're already there, and we need to utilize that as much as possible. When we start it on Amazon, then you kind of move into different areas from there, but it will be part of the plan. It's not going to be any more someone coming along on a webinar and saying, hey guys, why don't you try this? So any decisions are part of the plan and not part of shiny object syndrome. Because something isn't working for you. Have you noticed how many of the webinars and videos are all led towards, hey, this doesn't work anymore, why don't you try this? Are you frustrated with this? Well, why don't you try this? Well, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, how about we start looking at it differently, as opposed to the way that it's always been looked at? Why do we have to quit things when it can serve a purpose still, if we look at it differently? That's what I want to make today about, more than anything else, because everything that we do as part of what we teach in the Hive, and what we talk about here, and what be stocked, the inventory management will bring to the future, is all part of this plan. It's all kind of integrated. So I kind of want people to not leave other models because they want to try something else, because all it'll be doing is this constant cycle of trying this, trying this, trying this, trying this. We're going to utilize everything. You should never, ever, ever do anything, I think, that gets rid of experience. You have to learn from it, and you have to learn how to utilize it, because if you are quitting this to do this, well, then you're quitting. And you should only quit when you decide that you don't want to do something anymore because it's not viable. But in order for it to be not viable, you have to have tested everything. And, if you're trying to make this model work based on a 2017 mindset, it's not going to work for you anymore. And you haven't tried everything. Because there's ways now that we teach through the Hive with bundles that you can still adopt the main principles of building a business through arbitrage to make it work for you. And, we see it time and time again. It's a game changer. You saw people in the comments. It's the way to go. It's the way to go. But we're going to utilize all the different aspects as well. And that's what I want the realization to be, because I don't think online arbitrage is dead anymore. Not the way that I look at it. So I hope that makes sense, because it's not dead. It just needs to be looked at differently. That's the way that I think about it. Raheem says, good stuff. Thank you. Loads of people have joined. Nikolai, Mason, Alexandra. Any other comments? Let me know. Do you think there will be an increase in people aiming traffic to storefront instead of single items? I think that means storefront stalk. I think it's something that I think that happens now anyway. To be perfectly honest, I don't see the connection to this. I think storefront stalking is part of the problem in terms of strategy. But again, we can utilize that as a way to, because if you are someone that just storefront stalks, then there's no innovation there. There's no, if you storefront stalk to use it to build the foundation of your sourcing processes, and then you dive down deep and you discover a brand, and what you do is you use that as inspiration to uncover more. That's what that's the way to do it. But if you're just going onto people's stores and saying, oh, they're selling 3 packs of Dove, great, I'm going to look for that, and if it doesn't work, then you're going to look at another product. Well, no, my mind works is if I see that, I think, right, okay, it's 3 packs of Dove. Okay, could there be a 6-pack? Is there a 6-pack? Okay, could there be different scents? Okay, this one's for dry skin. Is there one for normal skin? So I will utilize that information as much as possible to be able to maximize the hard work. Okay, deal sheets aren't bad as long as you know how to use them, as long as you utilize that information as much as possible to give yourself as much opportunity as possible to scale your business. So yes, I don't think that will be the case. April says, I'm confused whether join ESA or the Hive. So ESA is no more. Unfortunately, it was a decision that I have taken over the last few weeks, which I didn't think I was going to be making that decision. But with the launch of the Hive, I don't think people realize how much work goes into behind the scenes running these types of groups. And there is only one of me. And whilst I had Luke, as a fantastic partner within ESA, it became quite obvious very quickly that I wouldn't be able to produce the level of content and the quality working under both, which I fully intended to, because they were a different dynamic. The groups were a different dynamic. So I kind of had to make a decision, because anyone that knows me anyone that knows me knows that I won't produce anything that's rubbish. Okay, so I won't produce anything that I'm not proud of or doesn't work or whatever. That's just not me. So I had to make that decision. And being involved in B Stocked in particular, and knowing what that's going to do for people's businesses moving forward, unfortunately, I had to make the difficult decision to close Elite Sellers Academy from the start of April. So unfortunately, it's not really a choice anymore. The only mastermind group essentially I'll be working out of from April is the Hive. So, and yes, it is open to new members. So if anyone does want to join, it's £99 per month plus VAT. That gets you access to the Hive, which is, there's full-on bundle training going on in there at the moment. We've got an interesting one. We do our lives on a Tuesday at 7 p.m. So tonight we're tackling something that a lot of people are going through at the moment, which is going to be looking at the restricted listings that seem to be causing a lot of people ag at the moment. Oh, thanks, Matt. April's actually on YouTube, so I don't know if you want to go and post it on there as well. So Matt's just posted the link if anyone wants to join the Hive. It is ridiculously good value, guys. Literally, I think it would be great to hear, actually, if anyone's joined the Hive recently that wasn't part of ESA or anything like that. Because I think if you were part of ESA, you sort of known that it was going to be good quality information. But has anyone joined the Hive and has not been, happy with well, I'm throwing myself out here, but what I'm saying is if anyone's joined the hive, hopefully you guys will be able to comment that it's worth it, and you know, it's great value for the information that's going in there. We've only been running for a few weeks, obviously, but we've got massive plans. It's going to evolve so much more than what it is now, but essentially how you need to look at it is what I've been talking about today. And this isn't an upsell, by the way. This is stuff we talk about anyway. So I've given you the kind of, you know, the concept of it, but love it. Debbie says she's happy, buzzing around the hive. Definitely. So I've given you the concept, you know, you guys go ahead and do it. You don't need to be a hive member to do it. It's as simple as that. But this will build the foundation of everything that we do in the hive in terms of what type of business that you need to to build. And I'm going to be honest, if you're here for the side hustle, tune in to Never Mind the Buy Box. Listen to the tips. Look out for the posts, the tips, the lives we do here. The hive probably isn't going to be for you because we're not interested in scaling side hustles in the hive. It's as simple as that. If you make the mindset shift and you want to come over to building a business, then by all means, you're more than welcome to come and join us and, you know, join in the party, essentially. So yeah, some lovely comments there, guys. Thanks. Really appreciate it. So that's what we're doing. That's what we're working towards. Comment says, Rachel says, this is really interesting, Natalie. Thank you. I've started OA nearly a year ago and I have grown month on month until February. Now I seem to be going backwards. Had a slight panic a few days ago. First bit of doubt since I've started OA. So what you're saying sounds really interesting. Need to figure out what's next for me then. Absolutely. So this is something that this is what tends to happen. Traditional online arbitrage from 0 to probably 6 figures, 100K over a year, is actually quite, don't shoot me, easy in terms of scalability to go from 0 to nothing. You can do it without, you know, a lot of costs. You can do it home prepping. You can do it, you know, maybe with the help of a deal sheet if you know how to maximize that. But scaling that, exactly, because I would class, unless you're doing a specific model, I would class anything up to about 100K on online traditional arbitrage. If you're doing it traditionally with deal sheets and prep centers and things like that, I would be very surprised if you're earning more than 8% net, you know, and that's probably being a little bit generous. Once you've gone over the VAT threshold, probably even 3 or 4%, something like that. So therefore, that's not going to facilitate a full-time wage. That's a side hustle. So this is why we need to start looking at things differently. And what happens is, Rachel, you're probably trying to build a side hustle. So that's how I want to start looking at it now. Now, one size doesn't fit all. Of course it doesn't. So there will be some very specific exceptions, you know, if you've got brand exclusives, if you've got things like, you know, other different things involved in that. Absolutely. But I do have to, when I'm speaking to a group of people, I have to talk in terms of general terms. But when you come into the hive or somewhere like that, then it becomes specifics. Okay, if it's this, you do this. If it's this, you do this. You know, in here, I talk in terms of bundles. Okay, so I talk across bundles as a general term. But when you see the way that I teach bundles, it is not a general term. There is a specific strategy for each type of bundle in the way that you can use those bundles to be able to scale and bring stability to your business in particular. And that's just me, guys. I'm just one person in the hive. We've got Johnny and Matt as well. So don't forget, the hive is not about me. I'm 1/3 of the main group of the hive. And there's already plans in place to bring other people in, different experts in different areas. There's going to be accountability groups, which we've spoken about. So at the moment, it's very much still a work in progress. So I think that's me, Seller Excellent. For anyone that's not on YouTube that can't see this comment, that comment has made my day. I think that's exactly who I am. I have a talent for both freaking me out and also making me feel okay at the same time. I think you've hit the nail on the head. I think that is exactly what I managed to do. But it's not intentional. It's not a sales pitch. I don't intend to do it. It's just that reality check, essentially. But also, it's a bit like a slap in the face and then giving you a hug afterwards to say everything's going to be okay. That it's that kind of reality check to say, look, just look at it, make these adaptations in your business, look at it slightly different. And that's, and that's the way to go. Okay. So a couple more questions. I don't want to go on too long with this. Let's have a quick look. I seem to have lost comment. Oh, it's Leon. Sorry. Yeah. Leon, I guess that would. Oh, let me go back. I said to Matt earlier, because I knew that this was going to be quite ranty today, and I didn't want Matt sat there, like a lemon, and I look like I'm just over talking him. So I said, let me do today on my own, essentially. But then I realized I'm rubbish at picking up on the questions. So apologies for that. Someone says, also, there is only so much time. I think this is Danielle. I found outsourcing to find lead was meaning stock shared on deal sheets and money being tied up for months at the bottom line, 10% margin. Absolutely. But what if you were okay with that? Doesn't it change the dynamic? Doesn't it change the perception of it? What if you knew that was the case going into that? It's a mindset shift. What if you knew that it was serving a purpose somewhere else within your business? That's what I'm trying to get across. That's what I'm looking to work towards and build those type of businesses for people. Help build that. I'm not going to do it for you guys. You still got to take action. Leon says, I'm in the hive. It's great so far. Just the knowledge, just for the knowledge. Johnny and Nat know, and Matt. Perfect. Ben says, loving the hive so far. It's only going to get better, guys. So it's not going to get worse. Don't worry. It's only going to get better. Leon, I guess that would depend on what your definition of a monthly wage is. Your Amazon business will be profitable and successful depending on the amount of time you effort and invest into your business. I think the key takeaway from the session is Amazon is not a side hustle. It's a franchise business model where you are paying Amazon a monthly fee for their brand and marketing. Absolutely. This is what it is. It's that definition and looking at things differently. That's what I wanted today's session to come across. And I know there's a few people, I know David mentioned earlier, okay, thought he missed the session and said, what's the secret sauce? Well, there isn't a secret sauce. I suppose the only secret sauce is clarity of having an open mind and the ability to be able to adapt, for sure. David says, if business was making 20% margin doing wholesale or bundles, bringing in OA isn't going to help improve margin. Do you mean looking at it using to pay overheads and cash back? Exactly. That's exactly it, David. So let me just explain that. I just want to clear that up. If you are brand new, it's going to be a different plan to someone that's been doing this for a long time. So, when I said earlier, I'm going to be moving back into arbitrage. Okay. Now, I wasn't interested in it before because I knew that it wouldn't produce a certain type of margin. I'm a high margin person. It's the area that I've always worked in. It's the area that I feel comfortable in. But I looked at it slightly different. I'm like, well, what if I go back into arbitrage? And you know what? I'm probably going to get torn strips off a few people if this gets around, because Amazon's like a bloody, washerwoman's, kind of gossip circle at some point. And I know it will get misconstrued and it will say, well, Natalie is going to be a price tanker now. She's coming in to, back into the UK market for arbitrage, and she's going to price tank. But no, it's not that. I'm not going to price tank. I'm just going to have expectations of what I'm going to be selling, of what it's going to be doing. So I am going to be bringing back arbitrage into the business in order to maximize the benefits and cover overhead. David's exactly right. It's not going to increase your margin, because it won't for me, because my margins are already high. But as you can see, we work at a margin, we operate 30-35% net margin. Well, I can afford to knock 10% off of that if it's picking up slack in other areas. So it's a different process if you're already doing it from if you are just starting out. So David, does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So there's almost two different kind of plans that you need to go through. Okay. Joe says, loving the hive. Lucky people still getting the opening offer price. No, it's not the opening offer price, Joe. The opening offer price, you're right, it's exactly the same price, but the opening offer is gone, which included B stocked. That doesn't happen anymore. So the price is now for just the hive. Okay, now anyone that joins the hive and is part of the hive, when B stocked is released, there will be an opportunity to have that at a discounted price, but it won't be the same as the opening offer. You know, the opening offer was the opening offer. We made that clear at the time. But I'm glad you're loving it, and just wanted to clarify that. So just to clarify, the hive is what you would be if you sign up on the link today. Which, by the way, this isn't a sales pitch. It wasn't. It was just I've talking about it. Matt was here and he's put it up. So if you want to join, you're joining for the education purposes of the hive. Seller Excellence says, can you give us more information on what the hive is? Yeah, I'll run over it really, really quickly. So what it is the hive is a mastermind group, which is run by Matt, myself, and Johnny. And we are covering various different e-commerce education. Like I'm currently doing bundles at the moment. My next focus is going to be building this business plan for people to be able to adapt into their business. There's some Shopify information that's going to be coming, all at the time whilst we're updating and putting in systems and processes, standard operating procedures. Plus we have Hive Live every week, which is on Tuesday at 7:00, where we'll run through some of the information that may have been delivered through the Hive. At the moment, we're talking about various different sections to do with the bundle course. Whereas like when the bundle course drop finishes, then I'll be talking more about these business processes and things like that. And then it may well go into some Shopify information. So that's essentially what it is at the moment. So it's like a monthly sub where we're constantly delivering education, accountability as well. So there was a really valuable first Hive Live that we did where we spoken about, procrastination and things like that. So there's going to be constant accountability checks. Johnny's doing Late Night Love, which I always call it that. It's not. So he's doing Sunday sourcing sessions at the moment, focusing on wholesale and, keeper sales training and things like that. So that's an extra. I'm just trying to think. It's loads. But eventually what will happen is we'll bring extra people in. There's going to be accountability coaches for different people at different stages within their business. So one area we really want to focus on is if you are a newer seller in your business, then you will have a separate accountability group. If you are at a certain point within your business, you'll have a different, and then the goal will be to move through those different groups. So hopefully that's it. Late Night Love with XD Johnny, the new Graham Torrington. Who said that? Late Night Love. Graham Torrington. That's what it used to be. That's what I used to listen to. Yeah. Oh, it's Luke. Yeah, exactly. That's exactly. I used to do that. I used to do a driving job when I first passed my test to pay for my car, and it was Late Night Love. Late Night Love with Graham Torrington. Joe says you're nuts if you don't join. Thanks. Great value, amazing content with Natalie, Matthew, and Johnny. They have such a broad range of knowledge between them. I can't keep up with the content. Game changer. Yeah, there's always something going on for sure. Okay, David said, yeah, good. I'm glad that's clarified. 10% of 100K is better than 50% of 15% of 50K. That's exactly it. Definitely. Right. Well, if there's any other questions, like I said, this is something that, we'll always be talking about in here. And I don't want anyone to feel pressured that they have to join the hive. I think it's amazing value. Absolutely. This isn't a sales pitch. There's no doubt about it. But Matt, if you are around and you fancy joining up, it's a month by month subscription. So worst case scenario, you try it for a month. It's not for you. Whilst we don't give any guarantees or anything like that, it's something that you try it for a month, it isn't for you. I guarantee it, even if you tune into just the Hive lives, you will pick up something that is worth it for sure. So please, 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 if you've got any questions, just let us know. Thanks, Jackie. Good to see you. Carswell, excellent presentation. Thank you. Appreciate it. So Matt, if you're around, if you could drop that link one more time, because I don't think I can. I'm not sure. Oh, I might have it actually. I can drop it in just in case. Sometimes it lets me post, sometimes it doesn't. I don't know. There we go. I think it has. So if you do want to join, but if not, guys, that's only gone on YouTube. I'll go in and post it in again afterwards. But just ask for just in the whatever group you're in. If you're in Amazon Entrepreneurs, ask in there. If you're in eCom, then ask in there. Just ask for the link to join the Hive. There we go. Oh, Matt's posted it. Perfect. Okay. Well, next week we will be back. Next Monday, I'm going to be doing next Monday will be the first part of our mastermind session for maximizing your Amazon knowledge. So this was part of the package that we did back in September last year for the Wholesale Acceleration course. So that if you've already joined for that, you don't need to pay anything more. You're going to get a Zoom link that's going to be sent out to you, and we're going live at 7:00 on Tuesday for that one. And I am so looking forward to that. It's going to be so different. It's not going to be anything that I've ever talked about publicly before, essentially. But again, it's all part of this business plan. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate it. It's all going to be part of this business plan eventually. So I'm really looking forward to getting that. So if you've already got yourself a ticket for that, it's definitely going to be a good one. So it's definitely going to be something a little bit different. So that's going to be on Monday, 7:00 next week. But I'll be posting about that in the week. But oh my God, loads of you have stayed on. There's loads of you on today, and you've all stayed. So I don't know. I don't know if you've switched off and you've come back now. So, but yes, thank you so much for your attention. It's something a little bit different today, obviously. So, oh God, is it nearly 2:30? Time does fly when you're having fun and you give yourself a sore throat for sure. So I will catch up with you guys this time next week, but I'll post details and everything throughout. And if you want to join the Hive, and if you join the Hive as a result of today, we will see you on the we will see you. Yes, it does indeed. Poking the beast. For sure. Controversy. Yeah. Do you know what? I am being a bit controversial today, Brian, for sure. That's what you got to. I don't want to call myself a disruptor. I'm not. I'm like a mild disruptor. Do things a bit differently, for sure. Yeah, you're late, Cindy. I'm going. Right. Have a good day, everyone. Speak to you soon. And yeah, I'll see you next week. Take care. Bye.